Good. We will be very quick with the wrap up. I thank very much my co-moderator for the ground floor room. Okay, we were like focusing, we would try to be precise on a topic, so we were like focusing on the corporations, means what partners do we need, what allies do we need, and we were focusing on the other hand on forms of participation, meaning what kind of audience do we address and what kind of formats. I just like try to, sum it up, formats to what be supportive and necessary. First of all, I do not say who said that, right? I'm just figuring out to be quick. First of all, we need long-term support, long-term engagement, and space. So in Germany, we would say, gekommen zu bleiben. So we're there to stay, and we need the sites to be established. This can of course be taken if you have the money, you can buy the site. If you own the site, you're already on the lucky side. But of course, there's also like appropriate NGOs which can help you. We were putting down, for example, some two German or a Swiss and a German NGO, Trias and Edith Myron Foundation, which can help to take the property out from the market. And this is, of course, very helpful because then when you leave this logic of the market and you not struggle anymore. Other, of course, appropriate NGOs can be, or like partners can be partners to prevent skills, to prevent knowledge, how to do knowledge in terms of working with administrative. Then, of course, important is partners for knowledge spreading. And we talked about we need media partners. We discussed about what kind of media partners do we need, if it's more better invested an hour in social media than an hour in talking to corporate media. We were like yesterday talking about corporate housing or corporate companies. In that case, of course, it's also corporate media. We decided it depends on the scale of the project and also of the sort of project. If the project is really big, if it's touching really major society questions, of course, corporate media and like the big media in Germany, it would be Bild-Zeitung, would from their own take up this topic. Of course, we need support on the government level. We had this example here, for example, Yvette, this highway, this Magistrale, it's in two responsibilities. It's in the responsibility of the city and in the responsibility of several local districts, which the Magistrale runs through. So you need to work with both, and probably it's always good that you like approach on the actually responsibility level, but you can also approach somewhere much, much higher. So you try to reach your goal from two sides, which also is true not only for the government level or the government sector, but it can only be true, also be true for the private sector. You can find allies in terms of companies which naturally or sometimes seen as the enemies when it comes from this activist perspective, but which can be also allies. Well, then a very important thing, which is something I think in the middle of these both, is like permanent action, like stable involvement. This goes more like into the participation part. What else we were talking about? Of course, we need best practice, but we need not only the example, we need also people to advocate. So the best case is if the best practice example comes with a strong voice, with a nice face, which really represents, which you can invite also in terms of finding allies, building networks. We developed that. This is still not enough developed in our realms. And of course, Ben wrote down ETOM NEB-Lab can be such a forum to find those allies and to advocate for each other. Then it's your own references, of course. Your own references are very important. So you're your best ally yourself. If you are able to represent your own good example projects. If it's your first project, it's a problem, but of course you can build up on what you did, and that can be door openers. So, what can be helpful in terms of allies if you're mandated? You know, if you're mandated by the city to do so, if you make that step from being the activist to someone who's really working in the order of, or not order, but just like mandated to do something, this is of course very helpful. You can do that in the name of the government. You can do it, of course, also speaking in the name of some other bigger partner. That's the bigger alliance, bigger partner. So of course that's lobbying power. Well, creating public pressure, that of course fits again to this media topic, but of course it can be also other stakeholders to do that. The media topic I already touched. Ben was mentioning that public pressure can be of course also like, ambivalent, because you can like burn the idea too early, but on the other hand, Yvette said, okay, but then we have to be strong, and there's another government coming, and another, because governments change, politicians change, and you will stay, but then, of course, you have to be the tougher one. Yes.
But you can also add good guy, bad guy.
Yeah, you can be, yeah. Not definitely, yeah. Then you need a bad guy or a good guy as an ally, whatever, from ever perspective you started. Yes, well, the others is more like, I think that's some general things, adding values, do it step by step, sell it positively. I mean, that's more than we asked with these two questions. So then we come to the participation formats. This is some examples. Basically, it's about, this was the case, for example, for Mulrich, be low key, be accessible. What happens when you have completely different target groups? Then you have to make specific offers. For the case of Yvette, of course, one are the local dwellers. That's kind of obvious how you get them when you get rid of the big street. What's with the other big target group using that street, the commuters? It's a little bit more difficult to give incentives to them why they lose the highway and the direct direction to their workplace. So, of course, you have to think about the different target groups. So participation is also, of course, making offers to different sorts of target groups, to different stakeholders and that, and probably also the formats will be then different. Yes, and basically it's about community building. Of course, that's more easy if you have a local audience which you approach. If it's like a more like anonymous audience you approach, then I would say the community building is much more challenging thing. Yes, and what both of you said, well, the next level is probably the professionalization, because the pure will and power from the bottom, will not sustain forever, and you have to sustain also your allies. You have also to feed your allies and to maintain your allies, so you have to maintain yourself. So the next step would be become professional. So that's again, like then probably the outlook from those two questions in the future. So that's basically it. I said I wanted to be quick. Ruta, I'm sorry, you have the word.
Thank you, Robert. And I will also thank my co-moderator, Roman. Will you help me to present the results? So I will be...
Here it is written down.
Okay. I will be brief, and if I forget something really important, Roman would add. So what we were trying to do was to discuss what could help to pave a way for a sustainable and continuous holistic transformation on post-war housing, and we were talking more about governmental level. And of course, we started from the EU level. And the whole discussion was about not only tools, not only about solutions, but also about the narrative, which we found really important. So regarding the narrative, they were first expressed that in the global view, those areas of post-war housing are potential for humanity in general, for societies that are suffering and they are traveling, searching for safe environments. So we should see it not only as a potential for sustainable, but also for a humane environment. Then we were discussing what is the goal of all this initiative, and we shortened the list to two things, that our goals are social resilience and sustainability. These are two things not to be overlooked, and probably all the initiatives should revolve around that. We also agree that we are not inventing a bicycle, so our strategy could be based on other even bigger strategies and relate to those when we are spreading out our narrative, such as 17 UN goals, also Green Deal and Renovation Wave. We also mentioned that there is a new European Commissioner, probably not appointed yet, but we know that he or she would work on housing topics, so probably it would be one of the first target audiences when we go to talk to European Union related with the... Sorry? Already appointed. Very good.
Yeah. That's interesting, because we asked if there would be someone come from that office, and then we learned that won't happen before November. But it's interesting that it happened already. A Danish.
Okay. Then we were also discussing that there are many probably documents in European Union around cities, so somebody has to analyze those and to adapt the texts that are related with the post-Soviet area, so that we will have the relation with the existing and approved documents. Then we were talking about the negative narrative that is spread around when talking about the post-war housing areas. And we agree that we should avoid destructive wording, such as grey, dull, not interesting, dangerous, social housing including. So that was about positive education. Then we were talking about tools. So first, I think, mentioned by several participants in the group, there were proper manuals and based on research and good examples. So probably there is a need for certain manuals that would mention step by step what is a good holistic transformation of those housing areas. But then, of course, we were talking that there is no general recipe for each location, so we have to combine somehow those general manuals with the certain context that we have. Then we had a need of analysis before any renovation project. Analysis, especially that was stressed, the social analysis on the community needs and individual family needs. We spoke a lot about communities, but not that much about individual families, so this should not be overlooked. We need to somehow create tools to attract private business into the topic to keep the things rolling. We need to get some management tools on the governmental, also on the local level, in forms of agencies or other institutions. We need legal tools that would prioritize repair than demolition. It's obvious to us, but probably it's not always there written in the politics. And I will end up with the proposal that probably we could think of a new charter to represent the new approach to those areas. So I will end up there. Roman has... Yeah, charter. We already have, we have already the name. So Roman, did I miss something important? Do you want to add something? I think that, Robert, you have to share the mic because my mic will not reach Roman.
Thank you. So this is we had a roundup of the whole group discussion, and some points perhaps I add, which we made it so that people were talking, and I tried to sum it up shortly, and afterwards I read it, so it's some kind of a group result, actually. So what you just said, but some points we don't have. The first thing is, of course, we need this analysis of housing, and I think in blue is that some things we already have, we just have to sum them up, so that they are assets and not so negative. Community needs, what you just said, also embodied energy, that we have green areas, and that we have a good chance of integrating people with an immigration background or history. Thank you. And then the others we had, that we need worldwide examples, and of course what we always need is good practice examples. That's always what we have to interchange. We also always need this soft skill thing of the analysis of the new town's history and their identity as a tradition in the town, as opposed to the prejudice which are often in the other parts of the towns. I think that is a very important soft skill. Educational values must be very good. We had this discussion whether another charter is just something which is perhaps too much. I must say I agree, but we were not, in the group, we were not sure about it. You could perhaps just say we need a strategic document. It doesn't have to be a charter. Perhaps that would be the solution. Planning law and practice appropriate to urban visions of the quarters, because they are usually a bit different of what these modern housing quarters actually was. We several times had the question of embodied energy, and the main problem that it is already in the sustainable goals and in the regulations of the United EU. And yes, I know. That's the 17 sustainable goals. What is the name of the EU, of our European United? We also have these laws, but they are not in the laws of the countries. So architects often have the problem that they cannot put numbers to this grey energy, and that is why, in the effect, it may be better to build something new, just because of the regulations which are not up to date. So that's the problem which we have. And then, of course, very important, we have to know better who's in charge of what. We have to have a clear responsibilities also in the special needs of these new quarters. And I think that's about it, yes.
Okay, that's a good and fruitful result of what you achieved in I was already afraid this is too much what we put down, but okay, very, very well. And just to give you a quick introduction, by the way, this is Roman Hillman. You haven't met him officially, only those who've been on the tour on the first day, or on the day before the first day, on the 13th. And Roman Hillman is also representing our ETOM Docomomo Corporation, because he is also here for ECOMOS Germany. I just wanted to add it to be precise. Good. Yes. So now the final act for this last section will be that we put down five lessons learned following our question we have for that, and I just give you a quick outlook how we proceed, also considering the time. I would suggest that, of course, we will have a break after that. Then we look forward to a wonderful lecture, and that will be the last we kind of hear as presentation of Lenka. And then we have a final round. For this final round, we have invited two people who listened to what we have discussed during the 2 days. And as we can't do the one-to-one discussion because the keynote speaker from yesterday, Joanna Gusia, can't be with us today, we learned all why. Then I would ask, just like after the lecture of Lenka, that Marlina Hapach and and Natalia, wherever she's at, Mishak. Here you are. I was just looking for you. That then you will be that, and then we make a final round, and you can probably already start to think what could be some precise questions we could then in the end, and could be in the end like helping us to take it on the way for the outlook. And I'm also very curious to learn from Marlene Habach then a little bit about her position, also her responsibility as a director or acting director of the Heritage Authority of Poland. But this was just the outlook, so you know what's coming up. And now we come to the lessons learned question of this section, and it is: how can we sustain agencies for a better future? I mean, we have represented here the variety. We were talking about alliance, we were talking about audiences, you were talking about strategies, you were talking about the do's and the don'ts, I would say, of how to achieve success. Now we talk about how we can sustain, and then in that case, of course, trans-sectoral agencies for a better future. So that's so we reflect that again now together. In other words, how can these beneficial and necessary forms of, in particular, trans-sectoral cooperation be expanded and maintained or manifested? So we can do it. I mean, we are 1, 2, 3, 4. Ruta, you're also a presenter 5. We want to put down 5 points. So that should be like with my simple math skills work out. And if someone from the audience has the feeling to add something, then just speak up. So who wants to start? Ruta, perfect.
I want to start because if somebody says that idea, then I'm without any proposal.
And then it is stolen. Then it's done. Yeah. Okay. Good.
It's very simple. I think that what we need is a legislative frame from the level of the region, European Union, to the local level, where the transformation of those areas is understood not only in terms of energy efficiency, but also goes together with the notion of architectural quality and inclusion of the communities. So if we have those values there, then everything, is just details.
Okay. Are you? That was so much in that thing, and Ben put down just 5 words. Does it represent what you wanted to say?
Okay, let's say architecture quality as a part of Lenka. You had a proposal as well. Okay.
Architecture
frame which will include efficiency, communities, and architectural quality.
Like communities and efficiencies in terms of energy efficiency, or efficiency in
energy.
Exactly, it's NEB.
No, I think it's beautiful, sustainable, and inclusive. Basically NEB.
Nothing new.
Lenka.
It's not from EU level, but it's like a legislative frame from the top
to the bottom.
Through the different.
Yeah.
No, but it's correct if it's these 3 main points.
Yeah, no, but he's right. There's a difference if you have a legislative from the EU level. She's talking about a frame which is like giving an arch, which spans from EU level to municipal level.
And we like to influence it, so that's...
We do have the new Leipzig Charta, which is saying exactly that. We have this framework. And we also have the Davos Declaration on Hauptkultur. So we do have it.
But the declarations don't work.
Leipzig Charta?
Which Charta?
Can we have a microphone in the audience? I don't want to keep you for something.
The only thing is how you
I know the Leipzig Charta. I don't know what.
Lenka, please also like to have it recorded, because we definitely a major point of this project here is to record what everybody.
It's about legislative frame which goes from the EU level and includes architectural quality, efficiency in the terms. It can be efficiency in the terms of energetic efficiency, but it can be also resilience, like that it will have a very strong I don't know. Yeah, that it will be strong locally. There will be
and
a
community. The last word was
and the community. So those three.
That's close, of course. But Mr. Reicher, you were mentioning that we have put that down already.
No, it's a strategy. It's not a legal. It's not. What was the proposal was a legal framework.
Yeah.
New Leipzig Charta is a strategy which was adopted by the European ministers for urban development, and it serves as a frame, but it's not a legislative frame.
Okay, yeah, and
so it was adopted indeed in Germany with the new legal building law. So the new Leipzig Charta is now part of the legal building law, federal legal building law in Germany. But I'm not sure if it's the same in other European countries. So this goes a step further than the current state of play.
Okay, so that we have to, and that's you have to please write down legislative framework. Legislative framework. Yeah. From EU level down to, from EU level framework, from EU level down to the very bottom level of local municipality bodies. Right? Okay. We have someone here in the audience.
Should we? Robert?
What you can learn here.
Should we continue first, or is it okay?
No, but now
okay.
Coming to this legislative basics, what you can learn in Germany, it is for this transition of this kind of real estates, that is very important to have a funding framework. And we have that in Germany established in the 2000 years. And is Stadtumbau Ost and all the specific funding programs. And of course, and in Saxony-Anhalt, it is combined with European money. And so it is important that there is the possibility of the European level to use money on ground for such issues and objectives. This is what I say, this is demanding, or what you need here to write down, that we have this connection, because money is essential, yeah? Even initial money, a small amount of money, but this is the point, yeah, where you can start your project and your thinking.
So do we put legislative and financial framework?
Yeah. Yeah. He was mentioning we need a financial framework, like comparable to what was done on a national level, kind with Stadtumbau Ost, which probably also used EU funds, but to make EU funds also like approachable as well as like implementable for local funding, and not only for the major, but also for the seed funding segment.
Shall I write down funding structure for different phases? Or?
Yeah, but yeah, we have to write something down what we remember. And then when we work on it later, then we can like fill in more words. I would.
For different stages.
Stages of very complex issues.
Yeah.
And there's a differing.
Don't get me started. Yeah.
Columns and objectives they have to cross, and so. But most important is.
Microphone, please.
Most important. So far, I know, but maybe we have an expert here by the Saxony-Anhalt government. It's that you have access directly on the municipality level to this EFRA program.
Can you please?
May you add?
Can you please quickly introduce yourself that we have it?
Okay, my name is Lars Löbner, and I was in charge of the Halle planning, and one of those they have developed the 50th anniversary of Halle-Neustadt. But since more than 3 years, I work in Berlin. So.
Okay. Thank you so much.
But I'm personally interested, so that's why I'm here.
Thank you very much for the interest and for your input. And now we have the microphone back to Mr. Reichel.
Okay, so I actually work at the state level, so that's why I'm also here, and I do support this funding structure or funding scheme, Städtebauförderung, it's called in Germany. It's a very traditional or long program existing since 50 years in the West German part and since 30 years in East Germany, and really helped on a large scale to not only redevelop the new towns but also to keep alive the old towns. So that's certainly a very unique structure in Germany, and it's also something to be recommended, maybe to adapt by other countries. And of course we did use it to complement the European funding money, which in fact is not taking place right now. So in this funding period, we're not doing this because the bureaucracy of EU funding is quite difficult to deal with, not only for us on the state level, but especially also for the municipal level. And that's certainly something we have to work on. That's easy to deal with and not putting us in more trouble in actually implementing projects on different scale, right? But to adapt this funding scheme is certainly something you could learn from.
Yeah, thank you very much for participating, and I appreciate it a lot that we discussed those points.
Should we add on different levels? Or?
Yes, you should add that, and then we should proceed. While you add that, we should proceed with Sultan. Yes. Okay.
My message would be: keep them alive, technically, socially, and economically.
Whom should we keep alive?
The settlements,
the
Settlement.
Yeah.
It is a common goal to keep them alive.
Okay, that's the common goal, and whoops, where's my?
It is necessary to keep.
Yeah.
You said that you will add words.
Yes. But I would more interested in how we can keep them alive.
What I mean that we cannot neglect them, we cannot get rid of them, we cannot demolish them. We have to count them for the future. So that all the different details were discussed already, but. That would be the general goal.
Okay, that's more a strong plea again to keep the faith and to keep the track. And well, it can't be never said enough. Then we move probably to the next. What would be your big point? How can we pursue and sustain our approach?
Start action. Yeah, that's.
Well, we're getting general. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, but it's what I mean. Often it's. I really like this type of conferences. I often I try to go to 2 or 3 a year in different countries, and I'd like to connect and to to network, yeah, and to learn from different perspectives. But at least, if you don't do anything with it, it's for nothing. Yeah, so you have to think or to find a point where you can proceed, where you can bring life back or help to maintain the areas about you care about. Yeah.
I think I understand it, and let me rephrase it. I think it's like come to action quick. You know, we have to come to action quick, not to talk too long about it. We have to come to action quick, and we have to stay in action. We have to come because, like, when we don't come in action, you can start something from the table, in the office, or you can start something from the action. So you would plead it started from the action and keep the action alive.
Do you maybe mean learning by doing also?
Learning, yeah, obviously, and making mistakes. A lot of mistakes is important.
Don't make fun of us.
It is not fun of us. I think that learning by doing is much better than future washing.
That's true.
So I write down come into action
quickly, yeah, and come into action quickly and stay in action, yeah. And if it was not a sarcastic comment from Hubert, then I would
It was not sarcastic.
It was not sarcastic. Okay.
It is better to start experimenting, not first plan and then check the plans, but start doing and work on the plans at the same time by checking on the mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I would totally agree in that case, because when we started projects, in the early activist phase, so our theory was the action. Well, then,
Monica. I'm for the action as well. But actually, what I like to emphasize, what is lesson learned. We gathered here, and I think we should keep the network alive, because we mentioned a lot of times that we should make best practices, learn from each other. We've seen that the problems, challenges we have are pretty similar. So the solution have to be somehow adjusted to the local conditions, but we can really learn from each other. And actually, I'm really happy to sit next to Yvette, because we started 10 years ago similar network, actually referring to Latour, so going even back to history of network of certain Central European cities where they learn from each other. So, and they develop a lot of new solutions that we discovered then. Keep the network alive.
Keep the network alive and learn new tools.
Yeah, learn from each other.
And I can just say, I mean, this is what we do here with this conference is actually the try to give birth to a network. And I have to feel, and we learned all how difficult it is to give birth. And then we gave birth at the beginning of this year, and we tried to keep it alive until the conference in the end of the year where we're here. And I can say I was like reanimating it, reanimating it through this year. And I'm very happy that I had these birth helpers from like in the end we have 7 different fundings involved, 7 different fundings involved to have you all here. So I think keeping it alive, it can be a full-time job, and I can just hope. Of course, part of it is the city, and part of it is the State of Saxony-Anhalt. And I thanked, of course, already to these stakeholders in the introduction. And of course, and the other stakeholder is the BMWSB, like the federal ministry. But we of course we need this we need the support and we need this awareness that this is a big point. And yeah, and I hope we can keep it alive, and we will try to keep it alive.
Now I have the sarcastic joke, so when it is hard to burn, then keep the pregnancy.
Well, yeah, how long can you do this, right? Also in terms of maternity leave, you know. Yeah. But yeah. Okay, thank you.
I have still one. Little
I know.
one.
I just like thank you, Hubert, for this comment. And, yeah, of course, appreciate everybody and every comment. So, Yvette, last point.
Yeah, thank you. I first had also the network idea, which is good that Monica mentioned, but I have very easy recommendation, and this is positive thinking. And especially because I was now 1 year in New York City as a Fulbrighter, and actually all their discussion, and it's also very hard there, it's about like really be positive and try not to complain. So I really also be constructive, which I really like here as well, that we try to be constructive and we try to, come with some kind of solution. So kind of positive thinking and trying to convincing, because when we talk about this project, like they are for the common good, public good, so trying with that kind of positive way of finding the solution, convincing, getting as much as supporters, but not financial support, but also like intellectual, mental supporters for the change or positive change.
Yeah, and I might add, like, you have to stay positive. I mean, this sounds also very, very flat, but it's very, very true. But you have also to have appreciative listeners. You have to have people, because I think that's very important. When you come up with an idea, you have to have open ears. So this is probably also something which can be implemented structurally into governmental structures and municipal structures, so that you have to have an open ear. Because sometimes you come with an idea and it takes very long until someone understands what you're actually up for. So structures which do maintain open ears for listening to people who stay positive or optimistic. I mean, only if you have this matchmaking, then you will be successful. I don't know how you put that in one bullet point.
Alterations, I would say, suggest.
I would even say so. I would say that fits very good to that we said we also have to have a positive wording. So a student of mine was writing a short thesis about Märkisches Viertel, and she found 50 words for Märkisches Viertel which are negative, which were used in press and so on. So I would just say positive thinking and positive wording, these two, if you are okay, these two belong together.
Yeah.
Then I would suggest rather positive storytelling.
Yeah. Positive story listening.
But I wanted also more also to, that's important, but also what is important that also in this kind of debates we should more focus on how to make the change, than to complain why it's not going. Or this is maybe a Czech way of doing and discussing. It's always like you are elaborating very much why is something not working on, then rather on how we can, make the thing happening correct. You know what I mean? So we are a lot of complaining. So maybe it's also from our local perspective,
Yeah, Germans also complain all the time. Okay. By the way, talking about complaining, I think we almost made it. We made it. Yeah.
You just write down positive thinking and storytelling.
Positive thinking, storytelling, and listening. Positive thinking, storytelling, and listening. And positive listening.
Wording is important.
Yeah. Positive thinking, storytelling / wording, and I would say active listening. Active, positive listening.
Is that possible?
Yeah, because there's active listening and there's passive listening, Active listening is you really want to hear it, and passive listening is you have to hear it. Okay, good. Well, we made it. We made it. I'm so glad and I'm so happy, and I thank you so much, and I really feel a very productive and constructive spirit. Yes, then we can continue with having a break.
Good.
not in the GDR, we can't clap in front.